My name is Lorraine Centineo, and I'm a collage and experimental paper artist. And this basically is an introduction to my first video session or series on YouTube. And I'm doing this as a result really of having watched many videos over the last few months of artists who have shared all the information that they have gathered over, I'm sure, a long period of time, their techniques, the media that they use, and they share it with so many other people in such a generous way that I've been very inspired and have become enthusiastic myself as a teacher. Myself have become enthusiastic to try new techniques to further my own growth as an artist. And what I plan on doing, what I have taught in the past, is the collage along with experimental papers, and so that I plan on doing a series of papers to begin with. And the first series will be on plexi. A large piece of plexi, and I do prefer using the plexi. I have used the jelly plate, but it does, for my purposes, produce too small papers. I like the larger papers. I actually hang them up on hangers, and they offer me the opportunity to work on, yes, very small pieces, small works, maybe 3 by 5, that I put on easels or blocks of wood that can be like 6 by 6, along with cards and large pieces of wood, canvas, as well as matted and framed artwork. So I do prefer large pieces of paper, which I hang on hangers, and I have a coat rack, a double coat rack here that I do hang up my papers on hangers. And it's a pleasure because when I come into my studio, I see all these beautiful papers, and they actually inspire me to create. So I am starting by using the plexi for that reason, large piece of plexi, and I will be starting with 2 pieces of paper. One is wax paper and the other is cellophane. 2 papers that you might not think would be that interesting, but experimenting with papers is what I love so much. The techniques that I have gathered from doing unusual papers on the plexi have really yielded some unique pieces of artwork that I really do want to share with you. So that will be the wax paper, and I will show you some of the pieces of wax paper that I have done on the plexi, just to give you an idea of what you might be in store for. The first is, these are done with metallic paint. Hi there. You see me, right? Okay. These are striped, and they're metallic, mostly metallic. No stencils are involved in using these, although I do use stencils, and I will show you stencils in a moment. This is one type of paper that's just stripes layered on top of a solid surface, a solid color surface. The other is done with stencils. And I don't know if you can see this here, but there are large circles here that have been done with masks that I have created, or stencils I have created out of styrofoam, and then cut out designs on the styrofoam and then imprinted it on the plexi using the paint. Here's another one made with a mask or a handmade stencil that I have made. This is made a little bit different than the styrofoam stencil, but I will be showing you how to do these eventually. This is done with a store-bought stencil, and I do use them as well. This one here was done with a store-bought stencil too, and you can see I like green, I love bronze, and I love turquoise, and I also love black and white. Those are my favorites. We all have our favorites. For some reason, we can't seem to get away from using them either, even though we sometimes try. The other is the cellophane. And you wouldn't think this would make a beautiful paper, but it does. It's very, very pretty. It's very translucent. And you can purchase the cellophane in the dollar store. You get quite a substantial roll, and it makes quite a large selection of papers. Very cost effective. So, and it's transparent, very transparent, just like the wax paper, which I love, and it enables me to see my fabric, my foil, if I do painted foil, or other creative papers that I want to place underneath it that can show through. Also, the papers can be cut in such a way you can make a design in the paper with a scissor, cut out a design, which I will be showing you at another time, how to put these papers together effectively to create something beautiful. And it's an additional paper that you're creating when you do that, when you layer like that. And you adhere one paper to the other, and then the piece underneath naturally shows through. So I will be showing you that as well in the future, as well as the masks, how to do the stencils, which are also very reasonable. It doesn't cost you anything to make them, and they're all different. And what I love myself personally is they're large, so they accommodate large pieces of paper very easily, and I really just love working with them. And what I would like to also show you is something that I made out of wax paper, so that you can say, well, what does she want to do with wax paper? And that would be a logical question. What does it look like when you use it? So as a result of watching some of the videos on journals, I don't say this is a beautiful journal at all. I'm not skilled at this yet, but I'm working on it. But I did make a cover of it that I think is quite pretty, and it is made out of wax paper. So you can not only use it in your art, but it can be used as a cover on a journal or even within the pages of the journal. And so I just wanted to show you that this is all wax paper, and the paper has been layered. So you take the paper and layer it, and then I sewed the paper. So it's layered, the spine on the spine, it's layered. I actually went to Joann's. There you go, there's a pocket there that I sewed in so that you can put something in there eventually. The back of this is not sewed. I did go to Joann's and buy gold thread, and I sewed on the paper. The back is not sewed on, the paper is not sewed on, but the front is. It's stitched with the gold thread. So that's another thing that you can do with the wax paper that's quite interesting. You can stitch it, you can sew it. So for now, that's about it. And I do hope that you will join me for the first series. If you're interested, just subscribe below, and you will get a notice of my first session of the series that I intend to teach on papers. There will be things like foil, there will be things like the wallpaper, acid-free typing paper, fabric will be included, masking. I use masking tape and make beautiful papers out of masking tape, as well as using adhesives on paper to create interesting textural techniques. So if you're interested, please subscribe and you will get a notice when I do my first video. And that will be soon. And I'll be here. And I hope that you will join me. So welcome and thank you very much for listening. And I hope to see you again soon. Bye now.